In 1762, the French philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau, in The Social Contract, or Principles of Political Right, noted in regard to these types of abuses, religion, considered in relation to society, which is either general or particular, may also be divided into two kinds. He spoke of the religion of man and that of the citizen. The religion of man, Rousseau argues, which has neither temples nor altars nor rites, and is confined to the purely internal cult of the supreme God and the eternal obligations of morality, is the religion of gospel, pure and simple, the true theism, what may be called natural divine right or law. The other, which is codified in a single country, gives its gods, its own tutelary patrons. It has its dogmas, its rites, its external cult prescribed by law and regulations. Outside the single nation that follows it, all the world in its sight is infidel, foreign, barbarous. The duties and rights of man extend for it only as far as its own altars. Of this kind were all the religions of the early people, which we may define as civil or positive divine right or law. It is that type of religion that still very much exists in Western society. Against this backdrop of a history replete with ideological, particularist, exclusivist, and racially and ethnically biased of the particular tenets of the Judeo-Christian religion in the development, formation, and continuation of Western society, stands the proclamation of the United Nations as they envisage a global civil society. And so in Article 18 of the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, we read, "Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom either alone or in community with others, or in private or public, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance." And I remember one person even saying atheism must be considered as a religion. Hardly can our history, hardly can our present existence claim to do justice to this declaration. Our world, our region, continues to see social upheavals at the heart of which is religious intolerance, fundamentalism, dogmatic ideology that leads to violence against women, children, the poor, the minorities, etc. It's amazing the amount of phobias that are to be found within a religious context. Xenophobia, ethnophobia, homophobia, anthrophobia, sociophobia, pineophobia, heterophobia. All of those are disorders that for the most part have their origins in an ideological, dogmatic position of rampant religiosity, and oftentimes lead to civil disorder, civil stigmatization, or cultural alienation. And so I return to Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who writes, "Those who distinguish civil from theological intolerance are, to my mind, mistaken. The two forms are inseparable. It is impossible to live at peace with those whom we regard as damned, and to love them would be to hate, for to love them would be to hate God who punishes them. We positively must either reclaim or torment them. Whenever theological intolerance is admitted, it must inevitably have the same social and civil effect. As soon as it has such an effect, the sovereign is no longer sovereign, even in the temporal sphere. Thenceforth, priests are the real masters, and kings only their ministers. Now that there is and can no longer be an exclusive national religion, tolerance must be given, should be given, to all religions that tolerate others, so long as their dogmas contain nothing contrary to the duties of citizenship." And then Rousseau continues, he says, "But whoever dares to say, outside the church is no salvation, ought to be driven from the state, unless the state is the church, and the prince the pontiff. Such a dogma is good only in a theocratic government. In any other, it is faithful." In Barbados, the importance of religion in the national identity and civil society has been established in one of the highest symbols of our land, namely our national anthem. The present existence of social partners, even though no provision has been made for the church, came out of a crisis that was associated with the structural adjustment program of the early 1990s. And we cannot downplay the importance of the church, particularly the role of the Reverend Dr. Leslie Lett, whose emphasis on social justice and his contribution to the then debate undoubtedly resulted in a model of dialogue for civil society. Some time ago, I had the opportunity to present a proposal for the integration of our religions in society from a more wider ecumenical perspective. I invite you to view these slides. Background. We need to recognize that Caribbean regional movement has focused primarily on economic, military, governance, and security issues. Regional integration means the movement of human beings throughout the region. Barbados has to accept the fact that Muslims and Hindus will be coming here. The Caribbean is a multi-faith community. Caribbean religions coexist with some levels of tolerance, though political agitation may create some anxiety. We see that oftentimes in Guyana. The movement of Caribbean peoples may mean greater interaction between people of different cultural and religious worldviews. The impact of the threat of the clash of world religions brought on by Western hegemony must not be underestimated in the region as a whole, and our interaction with the global economy, culture, and humanity. Proposal. If we are going to integrate religion in society, we need to bring together the diverse religious opinion of the region into dialogue with one another and with Caribbean society. We need to create an understanding of religious space of the region. And notice I'm saying region and not Barbados because we are part of a CARICOM region. We need to articulate the inter-religious threads that bind us together. Objectives. To create a synergic religious understanding of Caribbean humanity. To establish the shared moral and religious values of our Caribbean people, to establish grounds of cohesion between religious leaders. Too often, religious leaders are fighting in the Caribbean. The Rastas are not accepted within certain domains. The Muslims, etc., are